Hello, everyone, and welcome. You can think of me as your AI guide, here to support you as we dive into the essentials of modern hospitality. On behalf of everyone at Europe Hotel School, I'm thrilled to welcome you to this online learning journey. We are absolutely dedicated to helping you build a successful and truly rewarding career in this incredible industry.
All right, so here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to start by looking at what it means to go beyond the transaction. Then we'll crunch the numbers with the economics of loyalty. After that, we get to the heart of it all, cultivating emotional bonds. We'll see how that creates advocacy and resilience, and we'll wrap it all up by showing you why these relationships are, without a doubt, your most valuable asset.
Okay, let's dive right in. We're going to start with a huge idea that has completely changed the game in modern hospitality. In today's market, where guest expectations are higher than ever, success isn't just about filling rooms anymore. Not even close. It's all about the quality, the depth of the relationships we build with our guests. This has become the new gold standard for excellence.
And this slide lays out that shift perfectly. The old way of doing things? It was purely transactional, all about short-term wins, packing the house, and seeing guests as, well, basically just revenue sources. But the new standard is all relational. It's a complete mindset shift. It's about creating long-term value by building real, meaningful connections. In this new world, our guests become our partners.
So all this talk about relationships sounds nice, but you might be wondering, how does it actually affect the bottom line? And that brings us right to the economics of loyalty. Because while building these connections feels like an art, it is also a science, with a very real, very measurable financial impact. A relationship-based strategy isn't just a nice-to-have. It is the absolute foundation of a stable and profitable hotel.
This chart right here highlights a core financial truth of our industry. Just look at the difference. Acquiring a brand new guest, all the marketing, the sales, the promotions, it's expensive. Significantly more expensive than simply retaining a guest you already have. Why? Because a loyal guest has already given you their trust, and that means you don't have to spend a fortune trying to persuade them to come back. And when you focus on retention, the benefits are just huge. Loyal guests give you predictable revenue streams, which makes planning for the future so much easier. They also tend to spend more with you over time, which boosts their lifetime value. All of this leads directly to higher profits and lets you use your resources, your time, your money, your team, much more efficiently.
But you know, the numbers only tell half the story. The relationships that really last, and frankly, the ones that are the most profitable, are built on a genuine human connection. This is where we shift gears from the spreadsheets to the real heart of hospitality, cultivating emotional bonds. This is what separates just good service from truly exceptional, unforgettable experiences.
We call this emotional loyalty. It's that powerful feeling, that bond that forms when a guest feels that you genuinely see them, hear them, and appreciate them. And what's so critical to understand is that this kind of loyalty goes way beyond price. A competitor could offer a special deal, but it won't matter. They're committed to you because of how you make them feel.
This quote just nails it. Clients feel understood rather than managed. Think about that. No one wants to feel like a number being processed or an appointment being managed. They want to feel understood as an individual. When you can deliver that feeling, you are laying the absolute cornerstone of trust.
So how do we actually do this? It really comes down to these 4 key actions. First, you have to truly listen and then remember what your guests like. It makes them feel recognized. Second, you have to get ahead of the game and proactively anticipate their needs. Third, you must become a master of service recovery. And finally, you have to find ways to personalize every single interaction, no matter how small it seems.
Let's just pause on service recovery for a second, because this is so incredibly important. Things will go wrong. It's inevitable. But those moments are not failures. They are golden opportunities. A sincere, fast, and empathetic response to a problem can show your commitment so powerfully that it can actually build even more trust than if everything had gone perfectly from the start.
So when you do all this work, when you successfully build this deep well of trust, what happens next? What are the strategic outcomes? Well, that investment in emotional bonds pays off in 2 incredibly powerful ways: advocacy and resilience. This is the real return on your relationship investment. You see, loyal guests don't just come back. They become your most passionate marketers. Just look at this chart. Guest referrals are often the biggest source of high-quality new business. And it makes perfect sense, right? A recommendation from a trusted friend has a level of authenticity that no advertisement in the world can ever buy.
So, to put it all together, these strong relationships basically create a shield for your business.
On one side, you've got brand advocates bringing in fantastic new guests for free, and on the other, you build incredible resilience. During tough economic times or in a competitive market, it's those loyal guests who provide the stability that keeps you strong.
This brings us to our final and maybe our most important section. I really want you to let this sink in. The relationships you build with your guests are, without a shadow of a doubt, your most valuable professional asset. But just like any valuable asset, it's not a one-and-done deal. It requires patient, continuous investment.
Trust is never built overnight. It's the sum total of hundreds of small, positive moments. Every warm greeting, every request handled with care, every problem solved with empathy. I like to think of each interaction as a deposit you make into a trust bank. It's that day-in, day-out consistency that forges a bond that truly lasts.
And so I'll leave you with this final question. As you set out on your career in this remarkable industry, please remember that every guest, every colleague, every single interaction is an opportunity. The entire foundation of your success will be built one relationship at a time. So, what relationship will you choose to build today?